And so obviously that sort of happened. And then how did you get into making your cosplays? And what was the first one? Because that's always the one that everybody wants to know in the cosplay world. It's either really good, bad, or you don't just want to talk about it.
No, my first cosplay that was my first cosplay to actually go viral. I did Killer Bee from Naruto. And yeah, Naruto. I ran into the problem when I first started cosplaying to where I'm 6'2", and at the time when I first started, I was like 310. So I was a real big guy, and nothing I could order would fit. Like nothing was in my size or anything. So it was like I had no other choice but to learn how to make it. Luckily, YouTube's my friend. Luckily, a couple of cosplayers I reached out to and asked for tips. A couple of them responded. A lot of them didn't respond, didn't say anything to me, but a couple did respond. And when they told me what to do, it was like, okay, I'll try to do this. And so I did it. I created the Killer Bee cosplay, um, and I went to KatsuCon. Next thing I know, it was blowing up. It was on social media, but I hadn't created a page yet. So like I didn't know like okay, I should create a page, post a picture on my page, and then share it. Like, I didn't know anything like that, so it was going viral, but nobody really knew it was me. So, but yeah, that's how I first started like creating my own cosplays.
So let's even talk about that because obviously I'm a huge Naruto fan,
Hmm.
and I've interviewed a bunch of people on my other show from Naruto, and I
Okay,
grew up through it, and I love it, and it's my jam show, and like I love watching the filler and
right, right,
everything. I'm sorry, I'm one of those guys that it's easy for me to turn on and just peace out.
uh-huh,
And so, what was this like though, and being drawn to Killer Bee? Because Killer Bee is one of the ones who doesn't get consumed by the Akatsuki. He's hanging
right,
out with Naruto. He obviously talks in rhyme, and he's very much an essential character in a lot of
yeah,
ways. And he's a fun character, but he's not filler character, if that makes any sense. So, what was
right,
that
right,
like building that out as well? And also, you're a big guy, so
yeah, yeah,
Killer Bee's sort of jacked, and Killer Bee's a big
yeah,
guy too.
yeah. Yeah, Killer Bee and Six Red Kage are both huge guys, and it was a debate which one I want to cosplay. Killer Bee was a lot more fun, so that grabbed that it was a no brainer to cosplay him. And then he was also a black character, so I resonated with him for that. And then he was big, he was tall, so a lot of things matched up with me and him and his aesthetic. A lot of things matched up, and so and when I cosplayed them, I like to cosplay in character. So, every time I'd see it like a Naruto cosplayer, I put him in the headlock or I like start messing with him or, different stuff like that. And it was just a real fun thing to do. And so I had a lot of fun with it. And in the show, he's a goofy character. Then he was also, able to beat Sasuke. And back then, nobody was really beating Sasuke on the show. So, and Killer Bee, yeah, it was a no brainer that I had to cosplay.
Let's even talk about something that you brought up, where obviously, you know, there are black characters in anime, there are
Mm-hmm.
white characters in anime, and then there's all sorts of different color characters in anime, and there's aliens
Mm-hmm.
in anime as well. And so, what is this like? Because I believe that you could cosplay whatever you want to cosplay. I
Mm-hmm.
personally am not in the camp that you have to stay true, and I've like mashups and all that stuff. But
Right.
what is that like that you cosplay a character that obviously represents you and that fits you, and that I don't know how to exactly ask this question, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously you sort of connect with to some degree. And so what was
Yeah.
that like? Because
So,
it's a very good question that's going on with representation right now in cosplay.
right. So I feel like you can cosplay any character you want because you see me, I cosplay any character. Like they can be white, they can be Asian. If I like the character enough, I'll cosplay him.
I mean, they're all
Killer
Asian
Bee,
in anime, but that's not the point
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
here.
with, so with Killer Bee, um, Naruto was such a big series in so many of our hearts. So with shows and anime or even like Marvel comics or anything or Star Wars, you want some sort of inclusion. You want some character that looks like you, that is a good character, whether he can fight, whether he's just a character we enjoy. You want some type of representation like that. So for Naruto, we all loved the regular Naruto series before Shippuden. So there were no black characters in Naruto before Shippuden. So the inclusion wasn't there. But then when they created Shippuden, and then we saw Killer B in the cloud, that was black inclusion in a show that was one of our favorite shows. And these characters weren't drawn like a blackface character or like extra exaggerated character. These were good looking anime characters that were the inclusion for black people. And that played a huge part. You know, that's why Killer B gravitated towards us. That's why Dario or Six Ryukage, that's why they gravitated to black people, because this is where the inclusion was. We have a village. We have an equivalent to a Hokage. Like we have an equivalent to a tailed beast. Like that's where it was the inclusion that made these characters so important to us.